Watch as this painting comes to life. So once I moved onto the roses, I wiped down most of my palette to make some space. Then I mixed up a shadow, a midtone, and a highlight based on what I was seeing in the flowers. I also based this on what I felt was happening in the light. Lately, I've really been trying to use saturation more sparingly. I think earlier on, I would lean on color intensity to make things feel alive, but now I'm realizing that restraint actually creates a more convincing effect and realistic painting. So here, I was trying to match the value structure of the roses while keeping everything just slightly desaturated so that I can punch the saturation later. One thing that's helped me a lot with that is understanding how to neutralize color without killing it. The best way I've found is to mix earth tones like yellow ochre or burnt umber, depending on the value that you're aiming for, or to introduce the complementary color. When it came to building the form, I tried to simplify everything as much as possible. I was basically just thinking of each rose as a series of ellipses in perspective. From there, I followed the rhythm of the petals, tracking how the highlights move, either from the outside in or from the center outward, depending on how the light was hitting them. You can see me also starting to think about atmospheric perspective here. The roses in the back were feeling a bit too present, so I knocked them down by layering some of my background color over them. That helped push them back in space and keep the focus forward. After I got the initial layer down, I went in with a sable brush and started pushing all of my edges softer. In some areas, I let them almost disappear completely. I've really been interested in this idea of losing edges and then selectively bringing them back, because that contrast is what creates focus. So after softening everything, I went back in with a slightly brighter, more intentional highlight color, and I placed it very selectively. The goal wasn't just to make things pop, but to describe how the light was actually carving across the surface of the petals, almost like it's sculpting them out of space. As an artist, I feel like I've been in this long phase of searching for a style, and for a while that felt kind of frustrating. But recently, I'm starting to understand that style isn't something you force. It's something that emerges from how you make decisions. And it's really frustrating because that's what I would always read, right? Is that, oh, you can't push style, you can't, it'll come naturally. But I really think it's true, and I think the best way to curate it is to develop a taste of what you like in paintings. Once you know that, you can start to determine how to get there within your own art. Painting from life has been a huge part of that shift. When you're working from a photo, there's this temptation to paint every detail. But from life, you get to see how an object functions in 3D space, and you're forced to interpret rather than copy. It becomes less about information and more about perception, about capturing the experience of light interacting with the subject. I'm planning to go back in and add one more layer to these roses, just to refine a few areas and push that contrast in color and edges just a bit further. I'll definitely post a video once that's done, so stay tuned. I'm really enjoying working on these smaller paintings, and I recently painted an orange in the same style. I will make a video showing my process for that. Let me know in the comments how you think this painting turned out, and what you're currently working on as a painter.